thought that this was a winning topic. I realized, when Obama was pitching Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, back in, what was that, 2009, something like that, I think it was, that the Republicans just crawled all over this. The Koch brothers and their AstroTurf, and it wasn't just them, I mean, other right-wing billionaires as well. And the whole AstroTurf, Tea Party thing, and keep your government hands off my Medicare, and all this kind of weird stuff. Yeah, I remember all that, and I'm familiar with it, and I'm sure that it will be repeated. For example, the gerrymandering effort in California is already drawing millions of dollars from right-wingers who don't want California to lose, a couple of Republican seats. I get it that, five on the take corrupt Republicans on the U.S. Supreme Court have turned our country into an oligarchy with the Buckley, Bellotti, and Citizens United and McCutcheon decisions. I totally understand all that. And I know that it would be a huge lift. And I also, acknowledge that we have no power federally right now. The House, the Senate, and the White House are all in the hands of the Republicans. But assuming that power comes back around again, and there have been dark times. I mean, from the Republicans' party's point of view, the era from 1932 until 1997 was a dark time. During that entire period of time, the Republicans only controlled the House of Representatives for 2 years, 46-47 or 47-48, whatever I guess it was the election of 46, so that 47 and 48. And that was when they passed the law, I believe it was called Taft-Hartley, that allowed states to basically screw unions, the right to work for less stuff. But basically, most of that time, Republicans were out of power. So how many different beauty potions do you have sitting on your bathroom counter right now, eh? If it's more than just Vibrant Super C Serum, listen up. The ingredients in this one bottle can replace your day creams, eye creams, night creams, neck creams, wrinkle creams, and dark spot reducers. In fact, Vibrance has been essential in getting rid of those stress lines caused by our stressful political situation in America. Made in the USA with the highest quality ingredients, including vitamin C, high hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, and vitamin E, Super C Serum delivers noticeable results. Simplify your skincare routine, get a healthier complexion, and minimize wrinkles and age spots with Vibrance. And if you don't find it better than your current skincare routine, you get a full refund. So go to Vibrance.com/Tom, T-H-O-M, to save up to 37% off and get free shipping. That's Vibrance, Vibrance.com/Tom, T-H-O-M, Vibrance.com/Tom. For, most of, for example, my dad's lifetime. And, finally they clawed back into power starting in 71 with Lewis Powell's memo, and then, 3 months later being put on the Supreme Court by Richard Nixon, and they were off to the races. The billionaires got into the game and decided to turn America into an oligarchy, and here we are. So I realize how tough this would be. I realize how difficult it would be. I realize what a big lift it would be, what a challenge it would be to even talk about Medicare for all. But I continue to believe that Americans are sick and tired of this. We are the only developed country in the world where health care is a privilege and not a right. I mean, just let that sink in. Shouldn't health care be a right of citizenship? Shouldn't it be that if you are a citizen of the United States, just if you live here, you have health care? I mean, there's the compassion argument, it's the right thing to do. There's the legal argument. Healthcare should be part of the commons. The commons is, that stuff that the government really runs, not to make a profit. This whole idea that you want to run government like a business is stupid, right on its face. But that there are certain sectors of the economy that really should be run by the government. You don't want, Jeff Bezos' company running your police force. You don't want him running your fire department. You don't want him running your public schools, and you shouldn't want him running, or anybody else, running your healthcare system. Healthcare should be, and universities, in my opinion, should all be part of the commons. In fact, Abraham Lincoln tried to make the universities part of the commons. He created 74 land-grant colleges, including Michigan State University, the school that my mother graduated from. And, it's... So anyhow, here's this argument that Dean Baker is making that if Democrats want to beat Trump, they should embrace Medicare for all. I think increasingly Americans are pissed off, upset, and by the way, this is the end of August, so we've got September, October, November, December. We have about 4 months and a couple of weeks. There's going to be a massive increase in the price of ACA policies, of Obamacare policies, which are covering tens of millions of Americans right now. And that's because in 2001, there was legislation passed that expires at the end of this year. There was legislation passed because of the pandemic that opened up Obamacare to more people and reduced the cost of it. There were, federal subsidies. Those are going away at the end of December of this year. So starting next year, the average family could see as much as a $600 a month increase in their health insurance. And, some businesses, there are business exchanges for Obamacare as well. Some businesses will see radical increases. Now, we provide health care to all of our full-time employees, and we've been watching for years. I mean, the 23 years I've been doing this show, it seems like every year our health insurance costs go up. They're massive. I mean, we're spending a small fortune on it. And I think Americans are sick of this. We spend between, it depends on whose numbers you're looking at, but between $9,000 and $12,000 a year on health care and health insurance per American citizen. Canadians spend around $5,000 a year. Germans around $5,000. Most of Europe is around $6,000. We're spending twice as much, or in some cases more than twice as much. And we don't have the long lifespan that they have. We don't have the high quality of life that they have. We do have more communicable disease than they have because we don't have a healthcare system, so people don't go to the doctor. They just can't afford it. And so they just push through with their illnesses while they're walking around in public or going to work and bringing you your food while they're coughing on it. I mean, a national healthcare system, beyond just the commons, the democracy aspect of it, or the compassion, the moral aspect of it, there's a public health aspect to it too. You want to have a system that can stop communicable diseases. A country in the world had one of the best records with regard to COVID. It was Taiwan. Why? Because Taiwan has the best healthcare system in the world. It's very inexpensive. When you're born, you're given your healthcare number. It follows you throughout your life. Everything is pretty much free or very, very cheap. And in fact, it was set up by an American who went over to Taiwan. There's a whole thing about this in my book, The Hidden History of American Healthcare. There's a whole chapter about the Taiwanese healthcare system. And, it was an American who went over and said, here's how you do it. And they did it, and it works. It works spectacularly, as do the healthcare systems of most European countries and Costa Rica. So I agree. I think that, raising the minimum wage to $18 an hour, I think that's important. I think, I think it's really important that we have free college education for anybody who can get it, who has grades good enough, who can intellectually deal with it, and free trade school education for anybody who wants to go into the skilled trades. These should be part of the commons as well. This is how we prepare. This is an investment in the future. This is an investment in the intellectual infrastructure of our country. It's an investment that we collectively make. Now, I realize Republicans hate this because they say, no, you should stand on your 2 feet, which is really code for if you're wealthy, if you're white, but particularly if you're wealthy, you don't need government. So screw all those people who do, right? Not my problem. That's the Republicans' worldview.